Severe weather coverage will begin shortly on Dr. Don's weather. Please, stand by. Severe weather coverage will begin shortly on Dr. Don's weather. Please, stand by. Severe weather coverage will begin shortly on Dr. Don's weather. Please, stand by. Severe weather coverage will begin shortly on Dr. Don's weather. Please, stand by. Severe weather coverage will begin shortly on Dr. Don's weather. Please, stand by. Severe weather coverage will begin shortly on Dr. Don's weather. Please, stand by.
All right, good morning to you, East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don back in here with you, and I have good news for you, my friend, here on this Friday. It's 11:05 a.m., and the Storm Prediction Center has just updated their outlook for severe weather yet again. And what's happening, and I'll show it to you in just a few moments. You will probably remember this has happened before. We talked about this possibility. We have some very strong thunderstorms developing along the Alabama and Florida Gulf Coast region and out into the Gulf of Mexico, and those storms are cutting off that moisture flow off of the Gulf of Mexico, and that is inhibiting severe weather development across central and east Alabama this morning, which is good. I don't know that that holds all day long for our friends over in Georgia, but I think for East Alabama and maybe even West Georgia, a rogue severe storm or two can't be ruled out, but every moment that passes now and we don't have development across the region, the chances of that happening are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So the Storm Prediction Center, as you can see there on the map, has now changed the severe weather outlook now for the enhanced risk area has been pushed way down into southeast Alabama. And then beyond that, you see that yellow area, which is the slight risk category. That now covers all of East Alabama and West Georgia. Earlier today, we were under the enhanced risk. And then beyond that, we see the green area, which is the marginal area. That would get Talladega, Coosa, down into Autauga and Lowndes County. And then for the counties of Cleburne, Clay, Randolph, Eastern Coosa, Tallapoosa, Chambers, and Lee, and then our West Georgia counties of Carroll, Hurd, Troup, Coweta. We're talking about a slight risk of severe weather over the next couple of hours. And then as we get down into southeast Alabama, maybe clipping portions of Harris County in west central Georgia, you're under an enhanced risk of severe weather. And the timing would be through about 2 p.m. this afternoon. Those storms could form at just about any time. So we can take that timing piece right there, and we can we'll get that changed. So now through about 2 p.m., after about 2 o'clock this afternoon, we're going to be good. I know the sun is shining across East Alabama, and I typically tell you that's a bad thing, but here's the deal. The boundary front is moving through East Alabama at this time. Even though the sun is shining, we're not seeing storm formation because we're having the moisture flow cut off down in the Gulf of Mexico. Let me just kind of show you what I'm talking about. Let's go down south. Look at all that mess down there around Fort Walton Beach, back toward Panama City. We've got tornado warnings down there. We've got some big storms down around Dothan, down to Marianna, Florida. And then we had a tornado warning still due there just north of Panama City. And this convection down here has cut off that flow to the north. So that's why we are seeing a decrease in the chance of severe weather across East Alabama and West Georgia. Let's bust up into the middle of this storm, though, right here. And for you folks who may be down there getting your weekend started a little early, this is going to be a tornado-warned thunderstorm around Ebro. You know where the dog track is down there in Florida, just north of Laguna Beach. So that's a tornado-warned thunderstorm right there. Lots of lightning output. That storm is going to continue moving on off to the east. And we'll go north of Panama City. This is not a concern for Panama City proper, but yeah, up there around where the dog track is. If you're going to be traveling, if you're coming down the highway, coming down to Panama City, if you're on I-10 about to go south toward Panama City or Ebro, you might want to hang out somewhere and let this storm pass through because it is producing a tornado down there. And then as we look back off to the west, another nasty-looking thunderstorm now just south of Orange Beach, Alabama. This is out in the Gulf of Mexico, and it's moving off to the east-northeast. Probably won't make it on shore until it gets somewhere just south of Pensacola. This would be in line to affect maybe Fort Walton Beach in another hour or so, and then you'll see they're stacked up out there. There's two more behind that. South of Biloxi, Mississippi, that'll end up making it on shore. So I think now we're transitioning to a severe day down here in Florida, northwest Florida. And then we'll have to see what happens for the state of Georgia as we go throughout the remainder of the day. When I put the radar back in motion, you can clearly see all the breaks in the clouds. But the boundary front is moving through. Let me stop the radar and I'll show you where that boundary front is at this hour. So there's the boundary right there. And you can see there's just nothing, there is just nothing forming along that boundary front. And that is good. And now, I think as the day wears on, that may change as it gets over into Georgia, places like Macon, even back up toward Atlanta, North Georgia. We do have a few showers and thunderstorms up in northwest Georgia, and you see some showers up here in North Alabama also, none of which are severe at this hour. So we cannot completely give you the all clear across East Alabama and West Georgia at this hour. But I can tell you every moment that passes and we don't have severe weather warnings, the odds of us seeing anything are decreasing as we go throughout the afternoon. So let me go up here and see if I can answer any questions. If you guys have questions about all of this, or if I confused you completely, then talk to me and I'll see if I can clear up those questions for you. Bear with me just a second here. Let me see if I can figure out. There we go. All right, so Millerville, Alabama. There's Rita. Thank you, Rita, for joining us. Thank you, Bria. Appreciate you joining us this afternoon. When do I think Noonan will be in the clear? Hey, Robin Hall. Appreciate that like. I think Noonan's going to be in the clear as soon as that frontal boundary gets into West Georgia. I mean, we're probably talking, what time is it now? It's 12:12. Yeah, by 2 o'clock Eastern, I think that you will see an official all clear for West Georgia. Yeah, Kelly, I know it's confusing because this is a rapidly changing event today. And the problem is, we're not set up in this country, and I don't know why, with modern technology the way it is. It ought to be easy. But you got all these television stations that go out there and go willy nilly and do their own thing. Then you have all these people who think they're meteorologists. I'll tell you quick, I'm not a meteorologist. But you got all these wannabe meteorologists on Facebook and on social media out there saying 15 different things. It's frustrating. I get it. It just drives me insane as well. And the thing that is just crazy is why our television stations can't all get on board. We have a thing called a chat room. It's hosted by the National Weather Service, and all the media's in this chat room, and they're all seeing the same message. So why aren't they all telling the same message? It just blows my mind. You know, this guy wants to get more clicks than the other guy, so they blow things out of proportion, and sometimes the information is extremely confusing. Here's what's going on. We had the potential for a few isolated strong tornadoes earlier today. As this thing has developed and as we have gone through the morning hours, it has become very obvious that those storms down there along the Gulf Coast of Mexico are cutting off the moisture coming up off the ocean. So that is limiting our storm development across East Alabama and West Georgia. Now, down there along the Gulf Coast, right along the Gulf Coast, down around Panama City, Fort Walton Beach, Apalachicola, you could have a few strong storms down there with tornadoes. We've got one ongoing right now near Ebro. And then as we get into the afternoon hours across Georgia, there certainly could be an enhanced risk of severe weather there because we have the heating of the day. The sun's been going all morning, and so when the boundary gets into Georgia, the storms could fire up again there. I don't see much possibility of long-lived violent tornadoes anywhere across Georgia this afternoon, and the possibilities of seeing severe weather across East Alabama are waning by the moment. I mean, literally. We're just not seeing it happen. So I hope maybe that answered your question, Kelly. I know it's confusing. It's very frustrating. That's why we don't shoot you a bunch of bull here on Dr. Don's Weather. We tell you exactly like it is. And, you know, anytime we tell you that you're going to have severe weather here or there, we always preface that with, you may. It's possible. You'll never hear me say it's going to happen because there is always a possibility of a bust. And we talked about the bust factor going into this event last night and again this morning. We certainly did. And the bust factor, I think, has caught hold of us, especially across East Alabama and West Georgia. Yes. Thank you, Jasmine Buttram. We appreciate those stars. All you guys got to do is hit those stars, those Facebook stars. Send us some love here on Dr. Don's Weather, and you'll activate that air raid siren and get that tornado spun up there on the screen when you send us those stars. Hey, there's Lynn Palmer. Thank you, Lynn. We appreciate the stars. Sunshine in Clay County, so I'm a little worried. Don't think you need to be. I just don't think you need to be because understand the boundary is moving into Clay County as we speak, and there's nothing there, nothing but some clouds. You're going to cloud back up here in a few minutes, and that's going to be the boundary. The frontal zone, or the frontal zone right in front of the cold front, is about to move through the area. So once that passes your area, you're clear. Sarah Cummins, thank you. Appreciate those stars. I know you got sun in Pennant also, but again, we're just not seeing the storm development. You got to have moisture to have storms, and those storms down there along the Gulf of Mexico are cutting off the moisture flow. So I really think that we can't completely rule out the possibility of a strong storm across East Alabama and West Georgia, but again, with every passing moment, that chance dwindles even more. Appreciate those stars right there. Same for Glenn, Georgia. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate the like. Has it passed over us? I don't know who us is or where you are. You got to tell me. You got to give me a little more to work with that than that. If you're on Facebook, Scroll back to the beginning of the thread here, and you're going to see a link there where you can click and allow Restream to connect to your username so I can see who you are. If you don't do that, you show up on my side as Facebook user. So I don't know who Facebook user is. So scroll back down in the chat room. You'll see a link there for Restream. That's the platform that we use to broadcast on. Click on that and give Restream permission to attach to your username, and then I'll be able to see who you are. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Brittany, thank you for that like. Appreciate it. We like those likes. We like the likes. Thank you, Peggy. Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate it. Let me go back down here to Northwest Florida and again show you what's going on down there. Hey, Kathy Pate, thank you for the stars. We appreciate it. So you can see down here. Brianna, thank you. I appreciate that. You can see these heavy thunderstorms. That one there just north of Panama City near Ebro. It looks like they have dropped the tornado warning on that particular storm now. They've replaced it with a severe thunderstorm warning. But nonetheless, that's a pretty heavy storm. We've got another one out here in the Gulf of Mexico that has just developed. And then you look back over here by Pensacola. Got a big thunderstorm there, and then even all the way back down, you can't see it because it's offshore, but we're picking up the lightning. Storms all the way back down to Louisiana, south of New Orleans, and just big clouds blowing up out here in the Gulf, and that is blocking the onshore moisture flow. You can't get the storm development up here in East Alabama and West Georgia unless you have moisture to work with. And as evident by the clouds eroding, the moisture is eroding. We're getting dry air flowing back in on the backside of the frontal boundary, and we don't have any moisture to work with because these storms down here along the coast are cutting off that moisture flow. So that's why we have not seen the storm development this morning across East Alabama and West Georgia. And I mean, it's elementary here. I mean, this is textbook stuff. This is your frontal boundary. This is the backside of your frontal boundary right there. You'll notice you've got broken clouds to the east. You have clear skies to the west. That's dry air that's filtering in back here in Alabama. And because of these storms down in the Gulf of Mexico, no moisture is able to make it up into this dry slot. So the sun's coming out and we have no storms. And that's going to continue. There's absolutely nothing going on here that would suggest that that is going to change. The frontal boundary is moving in this general direction. Once that red line passes your location, you're going to be in the clear. Let me go back over here to the radar and show you what I'm talking about here. There you go. There's your frontal boundary that stretches through central Talladega County, down through central Coosa, down into northwest Elmore, and on to the south, down there south of Montgomery. And again, looking to the left of that line. Wait a minute, this is backwards. I'll get it right in a minute. Look over there. Look to the left of that straight line that's going up and down. You'll see it's all sunny. There are no clouds over there. That's where the dry air is. And then to the east of that, or to the right, in the direction the arrows are pointing, that's where we have broken clouds. Those storms down south are cutting off the moisture flow. That's the reason we have sunshine taking place out there in West Alabama. Moisture can't get there, so we can't have storms. as the day goes along and the frontal boundary pushes on into Georgia, we could start to see some development along that line. But by that time, it's well away from East Alabama and West Georgia. So we're in the process of watching our severe threat dwindle rather rapidly for East Alabama and West Georgia. Show you the big picture there, and that's scanning from Birmingham. Let me take the next red off and put the composite on there. And that's a good look at the southeastern United States right there. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch down here for southern Alabama. That most likely will get extended over into southern Georgia later on today. The parent low pressure system that's caused all of this is racing off to the. And this is so typical. The parent low pressure system is racing off to the northeast. It's dragging a trailing cold front across Alabama and northwest Florida. And then we've got those big storms that just blew up down there across the Gulf Coast region within the last hour or so. And that has closed the door on the moisture flow out of the Gulf of Mexico up into Alabama. That's the reason we have no severe weather. Now, if those storms down there along the Gulf Coast had not formed as quickly and as strong as they did, then we'd be looking at that. What you see across Florida would be up here across East Alabama and West Georgia, and that's what the computer models thought was going to happen. But you'll remember we talked about this last night and again this morning, that there were two things that could bust this weather forecast. One of those two things being exactly what's taking place right now, all of those storms forming down there along the Gulf Coast. All right, so it's 11:24. We're going to hang with you till about 11:30. I'll go back over to the chat room. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, now's a good time to do it. Now, folks, what you're looking at on the screen, every time I come out of that and come back, it clears the chat board. We're going to get that fixed, so that doesn't happen. But for now, that's what's going to happen. So if you had a question, you might want to repost it so I can answer it for you. It has been very windy out there today. Thank you, Paula Green. It's been very windy out there today, and we actually had some strong winds move through after that first line of storms earlier today across portions of Lee County. We had some gusts around 30 miles per hour. But you can see the current conditions scrolling there at the bottom of the screen. At this hour, we've got wind gusts in Anniston like to 15 miles per hour out of the southwest. Mount Cheehaw's got winds gusting to around 15 miles per hour. They're sustained at 15 miles per hour, rather. Allison, it looks like we're not going to have severe weather across East Alabama. We can't completely tell you no at this point. Look at that wind gust. Dadeville, 32 in the last hour. 30 miles per hour in Tallahassee. So, yeah, we got some pretty good gusts going on out there. 33 in Woodland. Wow. If we're going to have a shower or thunderstorm in East Alabama, and at this point, I'm not even sure you're going to see a drop of rain. Because that stuff down there along the Gulf of Mexico has just robbed that frontal zone of all of its moisture, and there's just nothing there. But if you're going to have a pop-up shower or thunderstorm across East Alabama or West Georgia, it would be within the next hour, hour and a half. After that, pretty much all chances are out of here. Josh, because some of them don't understand how this works. I've been doing this a long time. Glenn Burns at WSB was talking about that possibility last night as well. I haven't watched a lot of different meteorologists this morning to see what everybody else was doing, but I did I did see Glenn talk about that possibility of the cutoff storms down along the Gulf Coast. He did discuss that last night. And, of course, I've been talking about it, too. That's always a possibility, but with a setup like this, where the parent low races off to the northeast, it takes the energy with it. So the trailing cold front's kind of left to fend for itself. And when the energy that's left with that cold front hits the Gulf of Mexico, I mean, it's like taking ice cubes and throwing it in a pot of boiling water. I mean, it just intensifies, or maybe throwing it in hot grease. It just blows up, and that's what happened down there along the Gulf. It just exploded, and when that happened, it just shut the door, and moisture just could not make it north anymore. What will the weather be like for Lake Martin after the line moves through? It's going to be windy and sunny this afternoon. I mean, we cannot completely rule out a passing shower, maybe a little wraparound moisture from time to time, but the severe threat definitely goes away. As a matter of fact, Lake Martin, Wind Creek area, let me go back and see if I can make out exactly where that frontal zone is now. Yeah, it's coming through Coosa, so, you know, another hour, and the difference between clouds and full-blown sunshine will move across Lake Martin, and then you'll go just kind of gusty and breezy this afternoon. You'll be good. Same for Chambers County. Yes, we did have rain this morning, Elizabeth, and that did help. I didn't think that it rained long enough or heavy enough to really stabilize the atmosphere, but I think it did some. And then you couple that with what happened down there on the Gulf with the cutoff storms. Those two factors is what sent us into a busted weather forecast here. We are seeing a small shower trying to get going right there along I-85 near Valley. And as that moves east, that will slowly grow, you know, but it's going to have to be well over there toward Macon before it may grow into anything of any significance, or maybe even further east than that. So just some light showers in Troup County right now. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Miss Charlotte Bishop. We appreciate that. Those stars help us out here at Dr. Don's Weather, and we appreciate it. Sun shining in Roanoke. Absolutely it is. Thank you, Sandy. Thanks, Pat. Hey, Philip Smitherman, we appreciate those stars. Yeah, tonight, I mean, it's not going to be cold. I mean, hopefully that's gone. Tammy Craft, thank you. Ms. Spratlin. Low temperatures tonight will be in the 50s. It's going to be windy, though. I mean, it's going to be gusty from time to time. And then Sunday, we should be mostly sunny with a high near 79. The warming trend will begin. You know, that's how it works this time of year. And then we'll get back up into the mid-80s, probably by the end to latter part of next week. Don't see any rain next week as well. You know, officially we're going to hold on to a slight chance of a shower through, 6 or 7 o'clock tonight. But the severe threat's going away quickly. About 57 should be your overnight low tonight for East Alabama. All right, so I'm going to set this up for you one more time, then we're going to step aside. Wanted to come back and give you the latest from the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center, they have updated their graphics again, and they have turned off the wrong thing. They have whittled away the enhanced severe threat even further. You'll see now that that orange area has been pushed all the way down to southeast Alabama. Across East Alabama, just a slight risk of a strong to marginally severe storm this afternoon, and then a marginal risk all the way back into central Alabama. But I just got to tell you, I don't see it. It's not happening, and I just don't think it's going to happen. As that frontal boundary is beginning to push through East Alabama right now, and there's just nothing associated with that front. All of those storms down in Florida have pretty much cut off that flow off the Gulf of Mexico up into Alabama. But we're going to watch this for you as we go throughout the remainder of the day. If something were to change, we'll come right back and we'll continue with our coverage here on Dr. Don's weather. Weather. I've got to go over and get God's Country and the Classics afternoon weather package done so we can get that on the air, and then I'll continue to watch this for you throughout the remainder of the afternoon. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Hopefully there'll be no reason for me to come back this afternoon. We'll see you back in here first thing tomorrow morning with your primetime forecast on Dr. Don's Weather.